Hey, deserving listeners, Ed and Liz, let's continue watching.
They didn't send the interview dates. I moved it from there to Abidjan.
You son of a bitch, you didn't tell me that. Tell me again. Tell me again.
No,
did you?
don't say it.
I will tear
Don't
this
say
mother.
it.
Did you move the to Abidjan? Didn't tell me? Michael told me that.
So, I'm not reacting to... There's been some other interesting bits on the show. I'm not watching all of the other bits, but some of it, and I don't know. Some of these scenes are about it. I will say there's something quite emblematic, if you will, of a woman from her area of the United States drenched in American flag memorabilia or paraphernalia, standing over someone from another country and intimidating and yelling at him. I don't know the circumstances. Maybe she's right to be upset, but I almost guarantee you there's no way that she is in the right to intimidate, stand over, dominate. And there's a good chance that what she's reacting to is completely silly. I don't know. But I just...
Ed, have you been cooking out of this?
Yeah. It's awesome.
It is awesome. It's better when you wash it because you've been cooking with slime.
No, I haven't. It was
This thing had slime at the bottom right here.
That's
That's
probably-
why I washed it.
probably because we didn't wash it after the last time we used it.
Ed, it's just
All right, so to catch you up, it's a month after they broke up, and Liz has been in San Diego for a month, and they're back in Arkansas to pack up all of Liz's things, and then the movers are going to come and get everything. And they are just arriving, and they're bickering about Ed's cleanliness, telling him that he's disgusting and this sort of thing. You know, if I were there, I would tell Ed to leave. There's no reason why he should be there. I'm assuming that he has to be there because of the reality TV production crew. And this is reality TV gold, so they're looking for that. Yeah. So, well, we'll see what happens.
just been you. How is there so much trash everywhere?
And Liz's mom are really digging into him. He isn't really doing much. He's just sitting there. There were a couple quips that he had, but the main attempts at engaging is from Liz. And I would have told Liz before entering the house, one, I would say, let's have Ed not there. Two, I would say, what's your plan? Do you want to argue with him? Is that because if you do, then, you know, let's do it. If you do want to argue, what do you think will happen if you do argue? What do you think the outcome would be? How do you think that would be for you emotionally? What would be your goal? You know, if your goal is just to blast him because you just want to get things off your chest, then okay, you know, but let's plan out that process. It does not appear that that's the case, or she had a plan and it went out the window as soon as she was in the same room with him, which, you know, would make sense. So I'm not sure if this is advisable for any of them, and mainly Liz. But, you know, breakups are messy and they're never not. So it's not like this wouldn't have happened otherwise. It's bound to happen on some level. So what can you expect? Riley's not there, so that's good.
Generally, I'm very neat. I'm waiting for Liz to get her stuff out, and then I'm having a professional crew come in, and I want them to cleanse the whole house and go from there. But here comes her mom and her attacking me, and I'm just going to keep my mouth closed. I just want her stuff out, and for her to move on, for me to move on, you know, amicably.
Yeah, in this scenario, Ed's approach anyway, and what he has exhibited 90% is probably for the best. There's a dismissiveness to, because one could argue in terms of breakup ethics, if you will, he was the one that broke up with her. He's the one that called off the wedding. He's the one that abruptly did all that. And whether you think it's all his fault that they have conflict or 50-50, doesn't really matter. He's the one that almost left her at the altar, right? And so one could say breakup ethics, cultural protocol, he should put some effort into, and maybe this is that he is not engaging and not fighting. There could have been some contact before. He could have reached out to her, look, I'm sorry, and I have problems or whatever. I don't know, some kind of, or when she walked in the door, just some compassion of just like, yeah, I'm sorry. That might be hard. He has feelings too, and even though you're the breaker-upper doesn't mean that you're devoid of any kind of hurt or anger or anything. So maybe there's some issue there. But I will say that his approach and his behavior thus far is the safer route, right? If they want to have a conversation or they want to have the chaos and they want to sit down, but that's not what they're there for. That's not what Liz wants. She's kind of, and we've seen this before, and it also kind of looks like what I've seen in other situations, even with Liz, that, and she's talked about this, that she wants him back. It might seem strange. It might be a little underground, but that is a constant. If there's one thing we can depend on when it comes to these two, is that Liz will always have a place in her heart for Ed, for better or for worse. And it would be understandable if she hadn't had that go away by this point. And so there's an unconscious motivation that people will engage in where they will, if they're not going to get the love and the attachment and the compassion or the affection, then they might accept any contact. Or they will think, if I get into an argument, then that will be the first step of a slippery slope of us getting back together again, But I need that spark to get past the inertia of this very cold approach that he's taking. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't falter for that. But again, with therapy and planning and not reality TV, making sure that they're in because I'm wondering if Liz, if the cameras weren't there, if she would have preferred that Ed not be there.
It's, kind of immature. We able to get a storage unit or?
It's none of your business.
Liz, actually it is.
No, it's not. I'm on the lease till December. Okay? Just stop.
You don't pay rent.
I do pay rent.
Your rent was due on the 1st. You have not paid me.
Because you told me, get my stuff out or pay the rent.
You haven't told me.
Normal. It's going to be messy, and I'm going to take a guess and say that Ed's in the wrong. I don't know, but yeah, it's expected. It's going to be messy, and I guess for myself, I have to just reassure myself of that and say, yeah, well, what did we expect? And as long as Riley's not there, then it's just a win for reality TV in terms of the production.
I have the screenshots. I have the screenshots. Don't test me. My out tomorrow. I handled it. So don't throw rent in my face.
Okay, stop. So your stuff means your furniture, right?
It's her stuff,
Can
right?
you listen, Ed?
This is why you need a mediator often. I mean, lawyers can be expensive, but someone like a friend that can do this, because they can't communicate at this point. I hate it when people say that, actually, because they are communicating. It's just not healthy or it's not constructive. So because it escalated, she was, packing up, and he's like, so are you going to get a, so his initial question was, I think, innocent in that he's like, are you going to get a storage unit? Meaning that, because I don't think, so we've heard the voiceover interview of Liz saying that she's going to take all the stuff, put it in a room, and then the movers are going to come get that stuff. I don't think Ed knows that. So he's wanting to know what the plan is. And he's like, so you're going to get a storage unit and then the movers are going to come get that? And Liz instantly, snipes back with something argumentative or it's none of your business, is what she said. And he's like, actually, it is my business, which it kind of is. I would refrain from wording it that way. He could have easily said, oh, I'm not trying to dictate. I'm just saying I just would like to know what the plan is so that I can help, or not get in the way or whatever. Because I think she was ready to fight, maybe misinterpreted why he'd be asking that question. But he escalates. He says, it kind of is my business. And then she says, I'm on the lease, and so I have the right. And it's like, yeah, both people are right. He's intending on trying to be informed. She's in the right. She can, she's on the lease, so blah, blah, blah. And then she brought up, I paid rent, I think then he said, well, you're not paying rent, and then escalate. So they're both being dicks at that point. When all the conversation was at the beginning, I think, was him just wanting to know what the plan was or where they were going to take the stuff so that because when the movers come, he has to be home, obviously. And that's just a little detail. Now, he didn't do the groundwork to set up that goodwill to have that. He could have started, hey, I'm not trying to get in the way. I just would like to know how I can help. Are you going to get a storage unit, or are you going to put things here? Or the mover's going to come here because I just want to help, or just something like that.
I said everything will be out by the night.
Hey, Mom. I didn't expect 2 for the price of 1, I'm going to be told.
Well, maybe you should have been a man.
Well, maybe you should have done a better job raising your daughter.
Oh, I did a
All right, let's take a break here. The rest of this video will be for members of the YouTube channel. Otherwise, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You truly, really, really do. You do.